Have you ever felt like you were meant for something bigger, like your dreams are calling you, but fear and doubt hold you back? Today, I'll tell you the story of Santiago, a shepherd who dared to follow his dreams and discovered a treasure greater than gold. This isn't just his story, it's yours too. Santiago was no ordinary shepherd. He didn't choose the life of tending sheep because he had no other options. He chose it because it gave him freedom. Unlike many others, Santiago didn't want to be tied down to one place or one way of life. He loved the open fields, the sound of the wind brushing through the grass, and the quiet companionship of his flock. He would often sit beneath a tree, read books, and wonder about the world beyond the hills of Spain. But even in his contentment, Santiago felt a stirring in his heart, a faint voice whispering, "There is more for you out there." One night, as he slept under the stars, he had a vivid dream. In this dream, he stood before the majestic pyramids of Egypt, and a voice told him that beneath those ancient stones lay a treasure waiting to be found. Santiago woke up with a start, his heart racing. At first, he dismissed the dream. "It's just my imagination," he thought. But the dream came again, clearer this time. It felt more like a message than a mere figment of his mind. Santiago knew he had to make a decision. Would he stay in his comfortable life with his sheep, or would he take the leap and chase this dream, however uncertain it might be? The decision to leave wasn't easy. Santiago loved his sheep. They were his companions, his livelihood, his family in many ways. But deep down, he knew that if he didn't follow this dream, he would always wonder, what if? So, with a heavy heart but determined spirit, Santiago sold his flock. With the money he earned, he set off toward Africa, where he would begin his journey to the pyramids. Santiago's excitement turned to despair almost immediately. Upon arriving in Tangier, a bustling port city in northern Africa, he encountered a friendly-seeming young man who offered to help him. The man spoke Spanish, and Santiago, grateful to find someone he could trust, handed him his money to purchase camels for the desert crossing. But as soon as Santiago turned his back, the man disappeared. Santiago was left with nothing. Alone, in a foreign land where he didn't speak the language, he felt hopeless. Sitting on the steps of a market, tears in his eyes, he asked himself, "Why did I leave my life behind for this?" But Santiago wasn't a quitter. He remembered the words of his father, "When you set out on a journey, there will always be challenges, but those who persevere will always find their way." Determined to survive, Santiago began looking for work. He came across a crystal merchant whose shop was struggling to stay afloat. Santiago offered to help the merchant clean and arrange the crystal shop. At first, the merchant hesitated, doubting what a young boy could contribute to his struggling business. But with no other options and the shop's shelves already gathering dust, he reluctantly agreed. Santiago worked tirelessly, scrubbing every surface and rearranging the crystals so they sparkled in the sunlight streaming through the shop's window. Customers began to notice. Some stopped to admire the display. Others stepped inside, curious about the vibrant shop that seemed to glow. The merchant, astonished by the sudden increase in foot traffic, asked Santiago, "What else can we do to bring more people in?" Santiago, drawing from his observations and creative mind, suggested serving tea in crystal glasses. "When people drink tea from the glasses," he explained, "they'll associate the beauty of the crystal with something warm and comforting." At first, the merchant laughed at the idea. "Who would drink tea just to buy crystal?" he scoffed. But Santiago persisted, and the merchant eventually gave in. The plan worked better than they could have imagined. Customers flocked to the shop, and the once struggling business began to thrive. As the shop's profits grew, so did Santiago's confidence. He learned an important lesson. Setbacks are not failures, but opportunities in disguise. His robbery in Tangier had felt like the end of his journey, but it had led him here, where he was learning skills and earning money that would prepare him for the road ahead. One evening, as the two shared a meal, the merchant looked at Santiago and said, "You've brought life back to this shop. But tell me, boy, why are you really here?" Santiago hesitated for a moment, then told the merchant about his dream, the treasure buried near the pyramids of Egypt. The merchant nodded thoughtfully and said, "Everyone dreams of treasures. Few have the courage to pursue them. If you believe in this dream, don't let anything stop you." With enough money saved, Santiago thanked the merchant and left to continue his journey. As he walked away from the crystal shop, he realized it wasn't just about the money he had earned. It was about the lessons. He had learned patience, perseverance, and how to turn obstacles into stepping stones. Santiago joined a caravan traveling across the desert. The Sahara was vast and unforgiving, but its beauty was unparalleled. The golden dunes stretched endlessly, shimmering under the scorching sun during the day and glowing silver under the moonlight at night. During the journey, Santiago met an Englishman who was studying alchemy. The man carried a large collection of books and spoke endlessly about his quest to find the Philosopher's Stone, a legendary substance said to turn metal into gold. Santiago was fascinated but confused. "Why would you spend your whole life chasing something that might not exist?" he asked. The Englishman replied, "Because the journey itself is where the magic lies. The pursuit teaches you more than the treasure ever could." Those words stayed with Santiago. He began to notice how everything in the desert seemed to communicate with him: the wind, the stars, even the silence. One night, he sat quietly under the endless sky and felt a deep connection to the world around him. The caravan eventually reached a lush oasis, a paradise in the middle of the desert. There, Santiago met a woman named Fatima, whose beauty and wisdom left him speechless. Over many conversations, Santiago realized he was falling deeply in love with her. Fatima felt the same way, but when Santiago told her about his dream, she said, "You must go. If you stay here, you will always wonder what might have been. True love doesn't hold you back. It sets you free." Torn but determined, Santiago promised to return. At the oasis, Santiago also met the legendary Alchemist. The Alchemist was a mysterious figure, known for his ability to turn base metals into gold and for his profound understanding of the world. He saw potential in Santiago and agreed to guide him. "Your heart will show you the way," the Alchemist told him. "But you must be brave enough to listen to it. When you truly desire something, all the universe conspires to help you achieve it. But the tests will be difficult." As they journeyed together toward the pyramids, Santiago faced challenges that tested his courage and faith. At one point, the alchemist told Santiago to use his knowledge of the soul of the world to transform himself into the wind to escape danger. Though terrified, Santiago trusted himself and succeeded, realizing the power of believing in his connection to the universe. Finally, after months of traveling, Santiago reached the pyramids. Standing before the ancient stones, he felt a surge of emotion, joy, gratitude, and anticipation. He began to dig, his hands trembling with excitement. But just as he thought he was close, a group of thieves attacked him. They beat him and demanded to know what he was doing. When Santiago explained his dream, the leader of the thieves laughed mockingly. "You're a fool," he said. "I once dreamed of treasure buried under a tree in Spain, but I'm not foolish enough to go chasing dreams." As the thieves left, Santiago lay on the ground, battered but not broken. The thief's words echoed in his mind. A tree in Spain. Santiago suddenly realized the truth. The treasure had been waiting for him all along, at home, beneath the tree where he had first dreamed of it. Returning to Spain, Santiago dug beneath the tree and found a chest filled with gold and jewels. But as he held the treasure in his hands, he understood that the real wealth wasn't the riches. It was the journey, the lessons, the love, the courage, and the wisdom he had gained. Santiago smiled, knowing he had discovered far more than he had ever imagined. Your dreams aren't random. They're your purpose calling you. Like Santiago, the treasure you seek might not be where you expect, but the journey will transform you into the person you're meant to be. If this story inspired you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more life-changing stories. Remember, the first step toward your dream is the hardest, but it's also the most important.